So let's begin. So yeah, our token migration, and it's not Dover. So let's start. It's been up about a week now, and we have had approximately 99% rating in voting of yes. And this corresponds to 15% of the DOVU on Hedera. And none of the team members have actually voted as of yet. So this is governance for you. So congratulations to everyone for this community. And it's really kind of cool to see how overwhelming this is. Check out the proposal there. There's a nice little link. And so generally speaking, we're looking to resolve risks, and we're looking to expand our infrastructure beyond offsets. And this is one of the reasons why we're expanding our supply and we're focusing purely on Hedera. Feel free to check out this presentation when you would like, and we can fill in the blanks for you. And as we previously mentioned, the big thing about this migration is avoiding like a number of risks, including the security risks. The bridges, for instance, Poly network has been terrible with the exploiter. The exploiter has been effectively doing this token inflation issue. So there's a little bit more DOV than there should really be because of the cross-chain nature of the token. And of course, this brings into the community risks of FUD. And naturally, one of the problems we have faced with our current DOV token on Hedera is around the fact that it has some of these higher privileged supply and admin keys because it was issued through Hashport. And by starting afresh, we can have a completely clean and mutable token of 10 billion tokens, which is a nice round number. So these blacklist candidates, as explained before, are going to be the Polybridge network. We don't really like them anymore because they're not very professional. Of course, the Polybridge exploiter, so they will only have access to the old DOV as before. And with regards to that, also Hashport, although we will still be working with Hashport in the future, we want to distribute all the tokens to all the holders, and then Hashport will be used to kind of plug the new DOV into any network on the EVM side that we so wish. And if there are any other kind of candidates that are we can have a look at blacklistings, just let us know. Oopsie. So yeah, snapshot approach. We did the first snapshots, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, just before we released the governance proposal, and that was just to get a air of the situation with regards to the exploiter and everyone in mind, and that's why we discovered this inflation issue. The second snapshot will be scheduled post voting. We have a kind of timeline on that that we'll share, and throughout this entire period, we just want to be completely transparent and fair to all of the holders who have held tokens, properly. And this is something that we have actually been working on, is that we are in the midst of developing a web app that will allow you to check the transfer, check the migration, the upgrade from the old DOV tokens to the new DOVU tokens. Justin's doing an incredible job building that out, but there'll be an API that anyone can consume. So if you developers want to plug into it and have a little play, you can do that. And we'll also track when these tokens were transferred and all those details and how much you can potentially expect from the upgrade of the token. Now, this is really cool. What we've actually uncovered is that the EVM side of the distribution is going to be incredibly easy. We're going to be using the new feature from Hedera called Hollow Accounts. So effectively what this means is when we fire off the airdrop, everyone on the EVM side, this is going to be probably 9,000 to 9,500 wallets, all they're going to have to do is switch to the Hedera network on MetaMask. Our web app will automate that, but then you will have your DOV right in there without having to do anything. which is pretty crazy. And on the Hedera side, you'll need to associate as is with the network, and then we can airdrop that to you, or later on, we can do some kind of transfer. So these are kind of our general timelines. These are subject to change, but we just want to be open with the community. So let's say next Thursday, that's when we're expecting the vote to pass. And we go into asking liquidity providers or notifying them that this is happening and that after the snapshot is taken, there could be some volatility. So there may be a recommendation to remove liquidity if they want to remove themselves from any volatility, or alternatively want to just focus on holding their DOV holdings to make sure that their holdings are captured easily within the next snapshot. This obviously leads us on to Tuesday, and that following week we're going to mint the new DOV tokens and then start sharing the token ID. And then the following Monday would be looking at doing the initial EVM airdrop distribution with a accompanying blog post. And then throughout that time frame, it's all about providing the web app to everyone, so everyone gets an idea of the current status. These are very quick timelines because there are lots of other things we want to kind of build out, and very important things and exciting things we want to share. But we just want to make sure that this is a priority to get out to the community as soon as possible. Is there anything you would like to add around this, Evan, or should I just carry on?
I mean, regarding the timeline, no. I think I think what I'll do is, when you finish, Matt, I'll cover off some of the business development conversations that are going on to give a flavor of the other reason why we're doing this, and what's actually happening outside of just this token.
Okay, fantastic. And so our goal, or probably my personal goal, is to basically get 90% of DOVU distributed in weeks, and not months, not years, just literally weeks. This is going to be the smoothest migration of any token that's probably ever happened in the history of crypto. So it's actually really exciting to be part of that. And then 10 billion tokens. The nerdy way is, we want to expand the bandwidth for financial energy, so that when we have our fee structures akin to how Hedera deals with these micro payments for working with their SDK, we want to have that kind of granularity when people can kind of work with carbon credits and things of that nature. So yes, any community questions? Otherwise, we have FAQs that we've started on. But
there's a question there from there's a question there in the chat for you, Matt.
Oh, will this affect the Guardian integration? Absolutely not. The Guardian integration is absolutely key to what we're building. And if anything, this will augment our Guardian integration in terms of building solutions on top of it to make the Guardian more accessible to more people using our infrastructure. Cool. Feel free, Evan.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, and sort of building on that, really, the Guardian is a absolutely essential cornerstone of what we're building out. And DOVU can be very frustrating to people at times because we're sort of focused on big corporate entities to do business with, which is a sort of a slow sales cycle. But we are trying to build a world-beating organization that can trade carbon at volume, basically. And so we've never really gone out and looked for the consumer sort of marketplace. And our partnerships, our investments, the companies that have invested in us, the reason why we chose Hedera, the governing council, and all the benefits that brings is starting to bear some fruit. And I don't want to do announcements, but there is a reason why we're doing this outside of the exploit. There's always been a requirement, really, I think, for us to sort of change the token structure because of the volume of activity that we anticipate, going through And also, as we incorporate the token into more of our sort of core utility within the marketplace and within the platform, then this sets us up perfectly for the next number of years. So we'd expect to see, in line with our token distribution, some good news that everybody, I'm sure, will welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Happy to take any questions if anybody's got some. There's another one coming in there.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, so this is a complete migration of Dove to DOVU. Sorry, to the Hedera network, I mean. And so DOVU, not the Hedera network, is obviously not our home base for product, but for the token itself.
Yeah, just to build on that, really, it's about sort of, you know, Dove will always exist. There's nothing we can do about that. That's we created it. It's on chain. People have it. They can trade it. There's decentralized exchanges where people can do what they like with that. Our utility and all of our value is going to be built around DOVU going forward, and so that's so absolutely for the project itself, DOVU is the utility token. As a result of the exploit, Dove is not something that we can invest in. It would be bad for our community if we continue to have Dove as the utility token because of all the risks that Matt's outlined previously. So it's a great fresh start, but building on all of the hard work that we've put in over the years to get to a place where we're confident that we're going to achieve our goal of being the sort of the carbon marketplace that we want it to be. We're not burning any Dove. No, there's no burn going on. Like I say, Dove will continue to exist, and at this, I mean, Dove is held. More than 70% of Dove is outside of the project's reach. It's sort of which is great. It's in the hands of the community. So what our community decide to do with Dove tokens that they have in their wallet is completely up to them. But as a talking as the leader of the project will not be using Dove. The project will be using DOVU.
Yeah, we will work with regards to the next question. Yeah, like we will work with all parties on Hedera, all DEXs and explorers to have our token whitelisted as appropriate. And in addition, on the Hashport side, Hashport will provide us capability to get into any other EVM network through the new token as well.
Yeah, I mean, the DOVU token is as part of that utility. Of course, it needs to be traded. That's another part of the utility. So that's not going to change. But what we're not going to be doing is launching DOVU with a sort of price point set on a centralized exchange. It's that's not good, and also that's so yesterday as well. I mean, the future is decentralization, and the future of trading is decentralization. We're seeing the sort of we're seeing the collapse of most centralized exchanges right now, and most of them are being propped up by fake liquidity.
Yeah, and then this next question, will the airdrop be given according to the amount seen in snapshots? And if a holder doesn't associate the token in time, what will happen? Well, I can answer that one. So effectively, what's going to happen is, because we're expanding the supply from just under 1 billion to 10 billion, everyone will receive a 10x in their current number of holders they have. So if you're holding, like, let's say 1% of Dove, then you would end up with 100 million new DOVU tokens effectively. And the goal, of course, would for you to associate, but the airdrop, the kind of migration period will not end. So you will get to a point where even if you don't associate in time, you can associate later, and then we will send the DOVU to you later when you have associated. I hope that helps.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, just a note on Bittrex. And I think generally speaking, we'll just talk to all actors and to make sure that everyone who has DOVU on any other platform, DOVU on any other platforms will be upgraded to the new token.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if no one's got any more, you know where to reach us on Discord.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
always happy to chat and be as clear as we can be.
Oh, there's another one coming in. All right. Okay, one more question, and then we'll close it up there. So the utility. This is actually something that we are building up, and yes, there will be, and we basically want to tie our infrastructure, as in the ability for anyone to make any carbon credit at any time, and connect that to DOV fees. So the same way HBAR works for their SDKs and services, DOV will work in the same way for creating of policies, carbon credits, green credits, biodiversity credits, or anything you can imagine in the green space, which is huge.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that as well, we take our time to sort of get this put in place for one reason, that is, and it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. We're trying to build relationships and contracts with corporate companies, global companies, or countries, and therefore the infrastructure, regulation, everything's got to be right. It's no point sort of making a public statement, which is very Web3 and crypto, to say, yeah, great, everybody's got to hold one of our tokens in order to sort of use the platform. It's no good if the type of customer that you're looking for isn't ready to do that, and if the regulatory environment isn't ready to do that. What's changing is the mood music of that. That landscape's changing, so companies are now becoming far more open and to sort of to get involved in that way, and therefore, when they're ready, we'll be ready. So it's really about doing something that's real, as opposed to doing something that is like a wish list for utility, but no one's ever going to bloody use.
Nice. And let's say one more question. Should the holders of DOV be kept within a wallet after the DOV was distributed? After the distribution, in fact, yeah, even after the snapshot, you can do whatever you want with your DOV tokens. After you're included in the second snapshot, that is the data points we'll use for the distribution of the DOVU tokens.
Yes, like I was saying earlier, the DOV tokens will always be there. What our community choose to do with them has got nothing to do with the project. We won't be building a utility around it. If you hold it in your wallet, hold it. I don't know, if the community decide they want to do something else with it, then albeit. But from a project perspective, our conversations will be all about DOVU. And we decided just to keep it DOVU as opposed to DOV, or as opposed to change it to any other names, because, well, one, it's the name of the company, and number two, it's we don't want to be sort of rebranding and confusing things too much. There is a risk, however, that somebody might not put the U in at the end of DOV and still look at a DOV token. But I think that's an area that we will be focusing on, creating content to let people know.
Yeah, definitely.
I like DOVU
Anyway,
better too.
Yeah, DOVU's great, and it gets us away from the meme coin like Doge original vision and that dividend stock, DOVU Corporation. So yes. Anyway, thank you ever so much for coming. And have a great day all, and we can distribute this recording on our YouTube and get that sorted so everyone can see it. Cool.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks, Matt. Cheers.
Bye.